Yes.
I made some changes after I watched Julia Serving to the game myself.
Yeah. Just from studying.
And I see there are videos of me on my you understand you're an athlete, right?
Yes. Yeah, well, I was. Yeah.
But you understand mechanics.
Yes.
So what I see in Caitlin Clark's jump shot, right?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's a two-step jump shot, and the way she skips into it, I can really appreciate. I'm the first person that I've ever seen do that.
Look at those hands right there. This isn't some weekend warrior breaking down in game film. This is someone who's been around basketball for 5.5 decades, grew up on the courts of West Philadelphia. The same person Kobe Bryant used to study is now dissecting exactly what makes Caitlin Clark's shot so different from every other professional player out there. What he's about to break down runs deeper than most fans ever see. Because when you see Clark pulling up from way beyond the arc like she's taking a free throw, there's this precise chain of movements happening in less than a second that maybe 4 or 5 players in basketball history have truly perfected. We're looking at the skip-step jump shot with fluid entry mechanics that appears to defy basic physics, but it doesn't. She's just operating in territory most shooters never touch.
Right. There's only a few people I've ever seen to do it and really get it right.
Right.
Durant tries it, but doesn't look smooth as when Kobe Bryant does it, or the way Peter Stojakovic used to do it. But Caitlin Clark does it so smoothly. I'm talking about where there's a little skip right before her feet plant.
Yeah.
And she brings the ball here, and it's here before her feet actually leave the ground. And it's a two-step motion with a gooseneck release. Kobe Bryant, there's only a few people in history that can really get that two-step jump shot with the your feet are off to the left a little bit. Sometimes your right leg lands in front of you. There's only a few people who've been able to do that and make it look organic.
Right there it is. That skip-step motion flowing into the release with that distinctive wrist action. Now he just put Kevin Durant and Kobe Bryant in the same sentence as Caitlin Clark, and that's not coach speak or hype, that's pure film room analysis, because when you slow it down, frame by frame, maybe 5 or 6 players in modern basketball can pull off this exact footwork sequence and make it look natural. Durant attempts it, but the flow isn't quite there. The timing gets a bit choppy. With Kobe, it was like watching art. Every single movement flowed seamlessly into the next. And here's Caitlin Clark, 22 years old in her first WNBA season, executing it with the same smoothness that took Kobe years to develop. That skip motion right before her feet set, where the basketball is already positioned before she even lifts off. That's not something you pick up in summer workouts. That's thousands upon thousands of repetitions, building the kind of muscle memory most players never achieve.
She also has this thing she does when she flicks. She has several different releases. I don't know if people are paying attention. And her skill set is like no other. I've argued with people about Asia Wilson, and because everybody calls her the best in the league.
Right.
There's no way possible that she has anywhere near the skill set Clark has. And the way they defend Clark automatically makes her the best person ever.
Now this is where the breakdown gets really detailed. He's breaking down how the right leg plants ahead of the left, how the feet angle slightly. The various release options, these aren't small coaching points. These are the exact mechanical advantages that let Clark shoot over defenders who are bigger, quicker, and can jump higher than she can. Check out that comparison with Aja Wilson. Wilson just won the 2024 WNBA MVP award. Dominates in the paint. Probably the most complete player in the league right now. But we're talking about completely different skill sets here. Because Wilson does her damage close to the basket. She uses her size, smart positioning, and soft touch around the rim. Clark creates her offense from way out beyond normal range, breaking down defenses with her handles, court vision, and this exact shooting technique we're analyzing. You can't guard them using the same strategy. Teams have to build completely different defensive schemes for Clark because of these specific mechanics.
All right, so Caitlin, she's getting the ball. She's going to do a 1-2 step, okay? This is what that guy was talking about, okay? A little fake, 1-2, bang, bang, and then shoot it, okay? That's the 1-2 step. This is not necessarily exactly what he was talking about, but it's a part of what he was talking about. I just kind of want to break it down because her actual 1-2 hop step is kind of a rare thing a little bit. So no matter if it's off the dribble or a standstill jump shot, that is what this is. That's when Somebody pass you the ball, you don't do anything but pull it, okay? That is a standstill jump shot. Mechanics are still there, all right? This is the 1-2. She had the 1-2. She did the 1. She caught the ball on the 1. The 2 is coming, okay? Right here, the 2 is coming. Once that 2 come, boom. She pulling up in the same mechanics. Right at the shot pocket, coming up, flicking the wrist, knocking it down, okay?
All right, so we're diving into the technical stuff now. This is usually where people tune out, but stick with this, because understanding this skip-step sequence is the secret to figuring out why Caitlin Clark can rise up from anywhere on the floor, even with defenders all over her. Look at that pattern one more time. Catch, skip-step, plant. It's completely different from the standard gather you see from Damian Lillard or Stephen Curry coming off their dribble. It's not that basic collect and jump motion. There's this extra rhythm component that creates space and gets her into position quicker than defenders can process. That's why you see her getting clean releases even when she's supposedly locked down defensively. That little fake before the skip step matters too. It stops defenders for just a moment, barely long enough for her to get into that footwork pattern. And since the ball is already moving toward her shooting position during the skip, not afterwards, she's getting the shot away a full 1/10 of a second quicker than shooters who lift the ball after they jump. In basketball terms, that 1/10 of a second separates clean looks from blocked shots.
Here go another one. 1-2. You saw that? She caught it. 1-2, then pull it. Okay? So this is a part of what he's talking about. We're going to get into exactly what he's talking about, though. And as you can see, remember he brought up that right leg lands in front of the other leg. That's this right here. That's what you're seeing. You see that right leg in front of this? And it's because she's slanted. That elbow is lined up with the rim, okay? And we're going to talk about the elbow, where the hand placement is. We're going to talk about all that. Here go another one. Little fake. 1-2. Popping. Okay, so right here, this is what he's talking about. Now, this is more so on the hop, but she kind of add the 1-2 into it. It's a smooth move that a lot of...
That sequence right there, the crossover flowing into that skip-step motion, most players use a basic hop where both feet come off the floor at the same time after they gather. Clark does something completely different. She's got this stutter motion, almost like she's skipping, where her right foot plants, then the left follows, then both feet set, and she's already releasing. It looks like traveling when you watch it live. Defenders assume it's traveling, but it's perfectly legal. It's just unconventional timing that messes with the rhythm of defensive contests. By the time defenders realize she's actually shooting and not still collecting the ball, it's already gone. And here's what makes it even more deadly in the WNBA. The three-point line sits closer than the NBA distance, but Clark routinely pulls up from NBA range anyway, so she's taking attempts from 25, 27, 30 feet out, using this advanced footwork that most WNBA defenders have never had to handle before. They're trained to guard shooters who plant their feet and rise straight up. They're not ready for someone who skips into their shot with this kind of rhythm change. Look at that standard hop he just demonstrated. That's what 95% of shooters do. One dribble, gather, hop, release. It's predictable timing, defenders can read it and contest accordingly. But when you add that skip-step stutter before the hop, you're introducing a timing variable that breaks the defender's rhythm. They either jump too early or don't jump at all because they're still figuring out if you're shooting or driving.
Players don't do. All right, so watch this. She's crossing over. Watch the legs. 1, 2, and I hop with it. And I hop with it, okay? This is what he's talking about. And it's real smooth. It's a small thing on the mechanics, but it's real smooth. Okay, this is a simple hop. Hop over, boom. She kind of did it again off the pass, but knockdown, boom, off the hop. Off the one hop. Now check this one. 1, 2, come back. She did it again right there. It's like a 1, 2, and then hop. It's a rare little move that she's doing, man. It's really smooth how she's doing it. Like you almost think she's traveling the way she's doing it, but she's not. A little crossover. See, that's a hop. That's the hop. Okay? That's a regular hop. Y'all saw the difference.
So now we're getting into the real science behind it. Feet angled, elbow lined up with the basket, right leg stepping in front of the left, None of this happens by accident. This is designed for maximum efficiency. When your feet turn slightly away from your shooting hand, two things happen automatically. First, it opens your hip rotation, which speeds up the movement into your shooting position. Second, it naturally lines up your shooting shoulder, elbow, and hand in a direct path to the rim. That alignment changes everything. When your feet are square and your elbow drifts out, you're working against your own body to get the ball to its target. You're using unnecessary muscles, creating unnecessary motion, burning unnecessary time. Clark's angled feet mean she can receive the ball on her left side and bring it directly up into shooting position without any wasted sideways movement. Watch Stephen Curry's feet on catch and shoot threes. Always angled. Kevin Durant, same thing. Kobe Bryant, identical. That's not coincidence. That's physics. And that right leg stepping forward, that's the natural result of the angle. When you rotate your feet, your body automatically wants to step through with your lead leg. For right-handed shooters, that's the right leg. It builds a solid foundation and gives you better balance on difficult shots. When Clark is moving left to right while shooting, that front leg works like a counterweight, keeping her centered even when she's moving sideways. Here's the difference between solid shooters and elite shooters. Solid shooters need their legs underneath them. They need to be planted, balanced, with time to complete their full shooting motion. Elite shooters can fire off balance, off rhythm, with hands in their faces, and still keep their core mechanics intact. Caitlin Clark's relatively low release point shows this perfectly. Most casual fans think you need to jump high to shoot over taller defenders. That's actually the opposite of what works. If you need to jump high to clear defenders, you're in trouble. Because late in games, after playing 35 minutes, your legs are tired. You can't reach that same height. Your shots start coming up short. Clark shoots from a pretty low jump, maybe 8 to 10 inches off the ground. Stephen Curry does the same thing. They're not trying to outjump defenders. They're trying to stay consistent. When your release point stays low and your mechanics stay sound, you can repeat that exact same shot in the first quarter and the fourth quarter. Your legs stop being a factor. The shot becomes purely about rhythm and feel. And let's break down that shooting pocket. The shooting pocket is where you position the ball before lifting it to your release point. For Clark, it's low and to the right side of her body. For Curry, it's similar. For Kevin Durant, it's slightly higher but still off to the side. The secret is getting the ball to that pocket as fast as possible after the catch or off the dribble. The quicker you get there, the quicker you can shoot. When Clark catches on her left side and her feet are already angled right, the ball only travels maybe 14 inches to her shooting pocket. If her feet were square, that ball would need to cross 20 plus inches across her body. That's 6 extra inches of movement, which costs about 0.15 of a second. Doesn't seem like much, but in basketball that's what separates open threes from contested threes. Now the elbow position. When your elbow sits directly under the ball pointing at the basket, you're building a straight line from your shoulder through your elbow through your wrist to the target. That's the most efficient way to transfer force. Any deviation from that line, any chicken wing elbow or any elbow that's pulled too far in, and you're making adjustments with your wrist or your offhand. You're adding Kaglet. Clark's elbow stays controlled, not so tight that it's uncomfortable, but controlled enough that the line stays clean, and because her feet are angled and her shoulder is already rotated toward the rim, that elbow alignment happens automatically. She's not forcing anything. Her body mechanics handle it naturally. The offhand is another crucial detail. Clark's left hand sits high on the ball, almost to the side. It's not underneath providing lift. It's just there for control. The actual shooting power comes entirely from her right hand. Her left hand releases right at the shooting moment. You can catch it in slow motion. The ball leaves her right hand while her left hand is already pulling away. That's textbook form. If your guide hand stays on too long, you're adding unwanted spin or rotation. If it comes off too early, you lose control. Clark's timing is perfect, and that's not something you develop quickly. That's years of work. Thousands of attempts. Constant adjustment. Let's discuss the wrist snap he mentioned earlier. That's when your wrist is fully bent back at the shooting position, creating that curved angle. When you release, you're flicking that wrist forward and following through. The bent wrist creates better backspin on the ball, which means softer touch on the rim. Shots with proper backspin are more forgiving. They can catch the back iron and still drop. Shots with side spin or no spin hit the rim and bounce away. Clark's release has that wrist snap, and you can see the ball rotation. It's tight, consistent, backward spin every single time. That's not chance. That's technique. And it's part of why her deep shooting percentage stays elite, even when she's taking attempts most coaches would call bad shots. The various release points he talked about are also key. Clark doesn't rely on just one release. She can shoot with a high release when she can shoot with a quick release when she's covered. She can shoot off the dribble with a lower release to get it off faster. That adaptability makes her nearly impossible to scout. Defenders can't just time one release and jump accordingly. They have to react to whatever she's doing in that moment, and by then it's over. Compare that to someone like A'ja Wilson, who he brought up before. A'ja dominates the game. She's the MVP, one of the best players in the league. But her skill set operates completely differently. She works in the post, using footwork, positioning, touch near the basket. She's not creating offense from 30 feet with handles and shooting mechanics. That's not criticism of A'ja. It's just a different approach. When you look at pure skill, pure shot creation, pure shooting technique, Caitlin Clark operates at a level that's uncommon in any basketball league. The way teams have to defend her, extending pressure to midcourt, sending help 35 feet from the rim, that automatically opens up the entire court. That's the impact of elite shooting mechanics, combined with unlimited range and the confidence to use both. So the real question becomes, can you teach these mechanics? Or is this something you either possess or you don't? The answer is, it's both. The footwork, the elbow positioning, the shooting pocket, those are teachable. You can drill those components, but the rhythm, the timing, the instinct for when to use the skip step versus the standard hop, that's feel, that's intuition, that's thousands of hours of testing and repetition until it becomes automatic. Caitlin Clark didn't suddenly start shooting like this. She's been developing this since childhood, and now in her first WNBA season, she's demonstrating the payoff of all that development. She's not just a capable shooter, she's an elite shooter with mechanics that belong in discussions with the greatest ever. And if you can recognize what you're seeing, if you can spot the skip step, the angled feet, the wrist snap, the low jump, the elbow alignment, then you're watching something rare. That's what sets Caitlin Clark apart. Not just the range, not just the confidence, the mechanical precision, the details most people miss, but that create the gap between good and legendary.